Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Winter's Wish, continuing Tojo's route. So we are in chapter 7. I was like pretty sure we were last point, but yes, last time when I recorded, I was like, it's been a long time. I don't know. We're getting toward the end, but I feel like we got a couple more parts at least. I don't think we're close to wrapping it up unless they're gonna be like, quick, neat bow, and be done with it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like yeah, they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna drag it out just because we've now escaped from prison. Well, Tojo escaped from prison, right? So, and now we're all kind of being chased after by the Oniwaban. This place ain't that big. They're gonna find us, especially with a hawk flying around spying on us. So, I'm just saying, I can't imagine them being like, 5 hours later, we're still on the run, but we still have to kind of like solve the mystery. You know, there's going to be a battle and whatever, so I warrant we're getting toward the end, but I doubt we're going to get it in this part. I think we still got a couple more hours anyway, but anyway, Tojo and I left for Samurai Town. Tominari was traveling separately and had plans to link up with Tanichibo. Kamame sat quietly inside my kimono sleeve. Be careful not to fall out. All right, then. First, let's do another search of the city warehouse where the Blightfall appeared. We might find some evidence there. I really hope we'll find something that'll lead us to the kids. Tojo surveyed the area, looking a bit lost. Doesn't look like anyone's here. Samurai Town was quieter than usual due to the repeated Blightfall attacks. The shogunate was restricting information to avoid causing a panic, including the fact that Lord Yoshimune was wounded. Still, there was no putting a lid on the rumors going around. The information had apparently leaked to some of the higher-ranking officials. I mean, after you see a smoke monster kind of attacking people, that news is going to get out fast. I'm just saying. It looks like everyone who could escape has already left. I guess I can't blame them. With no pedestrians, we couldn't ask around for information. In fact, just walking around made us conspicuous. It's honestly a good thing no one can see us since we're on the run from the Oniwaban. Let's look at it in a positive light. Still, there was nothing positive about what we saw all around us. There were crumbling, half-destroyed houses here and there. In some areas, they were in utter shambles. Some houses were still in one piece, but the occupants had either moved away or fled, meaning there was a lot of deserted parts of town. It makes the black threads I'm spotting all over town stand out even more than they did before. Since I first came to Edo, I'd seen black spider-web-like threads clinging to the buildings countless times, and yet it felt like I'd seen more of them lately. It probably has something to do with people feeling anxious about the Blightfall or dissatisfied with the shogunate. Tojo peeked at an abandoned home through a broken wall. Before I was kicked out of the Oniwaban, I heard they were busy attending to the daughters of the officials from around the country who couldn't leave Edo. And they've been doing a lot to keep them from feeling cooped up, like providing them with a mansion to temporarily take refuge in. Sounds like a lot of work for them. If rumors go around that the shogunate's on the decline, groups plotting insurrection would start coming out of the woodwork too. And we'd be in deep trouble if war broke out on top of struggling to deal with the Blightfall. Maybe that's the whole point. I'm just saying. Just then, Tojo's eyes darted in the other direction. Spacey, this way. What? He pulled me towards him before I had any time to answer, pressing my face up against his chest. He hugged the wall, using his body to hide me. I think they're gone. This is, The Oniwaban were out patrolling, but we gave him the slip. Gotcha. Right. I understood why he did it. Even so, the way we were positioned still made me so nervous. My whole body tensed up. The look on Tojo's face said he was puzzled by my awkward behavior. Yeah, because you just told him you were like, nah, I'm good. We just buds, Broheim. Pound it. Fist, psh, whatevs. And then, like, now you're like, oh, come on. I mean, again, I get it. She told him that to, like, be like, all right, suck it up, Buttercup. You're not going to die. I'm going to need you to want to live, all right? But still, like, girl, this poor little labradoodle just figured out what emotions are. You gotta go easy on him. Something up? No, not really. I mumbled this while looking down at the ground, but he seemed to realize what was going on. I see. I guess this dance would be intense for a girl your age. For someone who's never experienced love or emotions or anything like that before, it's pretty intense for someone your age, too. What, have you been alive for like 5 fucking weeks here? I mean, you were aware as a tobacco pouch, but you weren't a human yet, so like, simmer down, child. You're just as immature as I am. What? Can't stop thinking about it? You know what? Props to this sassy little bastard. Don't tease me. Let's hurry up and head over to the city warehouse. Yeah, though. He's like, oh, yeah. And then at the second, girl, all you have to do is turn it around back on him and he's going to fall the fuck over in embarrassment, okay? He doesn't know how to handle this either. I attempted to walk away to play it off, but then Tojo grabbed my hand. Wait, calm down. I am calm! Let me go! Never in the history of the word or phrase calm down has anyone ever fucking calmed down by being told to calm the hell down. Seriously, that is like the worst thing you could say to anybody who's in any kind of state, whether they're angry or anxious or whatever. Calm down. I'll show you calm. Like it's never worked ever. Doesn't matter the situation. Okay? Never. I don't know why people say it. Seriously. The warehouse isn't that way. It's this way. I stood corrected. Apparently, I wasn't calm at all. Well, of course not. But again, telling you to calm down is never gonna fucking work. We arrived at the same city warehouse as before. It was so quiet the entire way there you could have heard a pin drop, and we didn't run into a single person in town. Much of the warehouse had burned down, and there was still a faint scorched smell in the air. Although the building was supposed to be off limits, thankfully for us nobody was standing guard. We made it in easily. That was kind of anticlimactic. I figured they'd have a pretty tight security here since it's such an important crime scene. Probably impossible for the Oniwaban and Shogunate at the moment. I feel bad for them. Blightfall appearing, convicts escaping. They got their hands full. You say that like it has nothing to do with us, but isn't the latter our fault? Well, we wouldn't have had the manpower to break into the city warehouse otherwise. All's well that ends well. We immediately got to work, searching the warehouse as we talked. There was nothing but rubble all around. I peeked through it, pushing things aside while checking for anything unusual. Sorry, I know you want to snuggle in my hand, but so I had to adjust because the way my arm was stretched, it was very uncomfortable. And I was like, I can't hold my arm like this. I need to now it's just resting on my leg. I can just sit here and cup you, and you can just snuggle in my hand and be perfectly happy and content. I know I had to readjust and disrupt you for a minute, but you're fine. You'll be fine. Calm down, bird. He's like, I am perfectly calm. I know you are. I know. I was teasing because we were just talking about you weren't paying attention. It's fine. Wonder if there's a cursed object swathed in black threads anywhere around here. Fat chance it would be that easy, though. I wasn't watching my step while walking around, looking at everything. I accidentally tripped on a piece of debris. Of course she did. Whoops. You all right? Without a second's delay, Tojo caught me from behind. Feeling him against my back when I didn't expect it made my entire face turn red. Thank you. I couldn't so much as turn around, even while awkwardly thanking him. My heart was pounding wildly over his warmth, which I could feel through my kimono. See, okay, you are not convincing yourself with that you got over him bullshit either. I somehow managed to keep it to myself when he pressed me against the wall, but I couldn't hide my inner turmoil after touching this way multiple times in a row. And if he stayed pressed up against me longer than before, sir, we have an investigation to run. This is not the time to romance me. But also, keep doing it. Watch your step. Pretty sure I've said something along those lines to you before. Oh, yeah, you have. Right. He helped me out earlier when I nearly fell, and all it did was make my feelings for him even stronger. Almost instantly, I remembered the emotions I felt at the time. I shut my eyes tight, feeling my love for him course through me. No, I can't. At this rate, Tojo and I'll be... No, I can't even think about it. I mean, I turned him down. Yeah, and you tried to convince all of us that you weren't in love with him. You lied to all of... We were like, that's bullshit. See, I told you. Even though I tried to let go of my feelings for him, I still couldn't get him out of my head. Duh. We were all here. We all know. This is gonna make things weird. I need to move away from him, and quick. I'm fine now, so... Flustered, I placed my hand on Tojo's arm. Fine, you say? Oh. Oh, look at him wrapping his arms around. Oh. I was wondering when they did this, and I was like... Or at first, when he, like, pulled us in to hide us, I was like, are we gonna get a CG? I didn't say it, but I was like, we just had one, though, but here we go. Yeah, all right, I see. Okay. He kept me from moving away, pulling me even deeper into his embrace. He's like, you told me I had to make you fall in love with me, and I think I'm doing a damn good job. Sir? We were lying, but, like, we were already still in love with you. But yes, you valiant attempt. You don't seem fine to me. His breath tickled my earlobes. The sensation sent a shiver down my spine. I had zero doubt that I was red all the way to my neck by now, not just my face. I could feel my temperature steadily rising. You know, he stiffened up like this in my arms when we slipped past the patrol earlier, too. His hand came from behind me, gliding up my arms, shoulders, then my neck, gently caressing me. Sir, this is not the time or the place, but I'm not gonna actually, you know what? Pretend I didn't say anything. Keep going. Oh, jeez! Are you feeling self-conscious around me because I'm a man? I don't know! Let go of me! Okay, then. No, but don't. What? Why would you listen to me? I mean, props to you for listening to me. You know, because, like, you know, I shouldn't be mad about it, but at the same time, like, why? Why are you listening to me now? Really shouldn't complain about a man listening to you, because, like, most of them don't. You're like, I am trying to tell you, these are the words that are coming out of my mouth. Yeah, but, like, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to pretend you meant the opposite. So, you know, when we're like, could you please let go of me? He's like, okay. You're like, yeah. Good on him for listening to me, though. Damn, though. Maybe I should have just, like, expected that. He released me just like that. Again, he's a good man. Even though we wanted to be like, please don't. Huh? What's wrong? You said to let go of you, so I did. I know, and it's so adorable and sweet. It's sad that in this day and age, not the one that in the game, but in reality, that we are like, if you say, can you please let go of me? And they do, you're like, damn, he's perfect. Simple shit like that, which should be a given, or like so few and far between and infrequent that we're like, oh my god, I'm so impressed. The bar is very low, isn't it? Oh, I did. Thanks. It was over so soon, I was almost disappointed. That was a surprise. I thought he was going to do more. Wait! I'm glad nothing else happened. No, you're not. You wanted something else to happen. So did we. Was he teasing me? I felt like he'd left my heart in the dust. Tojo grinned at me. What? Not enough for you? You know, Labradoodle, you're not supposed to be this suave, okay? He probably was teasing me after all. I glared at him, my eyes a little watery. Don't tease me! I'm not. I'm serious about you, Spacey. I'm so serious about you, I won't do anything that would make you hate me. I want to be sincere with you, always. Stop it. Sincere? We did only end up in that position because he tried to help me when I tripped, so he didn't have any lewd intentions, right? I mean, it doesn't mean it didn't cross his mind, but you said let go and he let go. Just saying. Like, all the gold stars. The bar's very low. We know this. He stooped over and whispered into my ear. As much as I'd love to touch you more, I won't go any further for now. So relax. Sir. His lips grazed my earlobe. Sir. He knows exactly. You know, for someone that was a tobacco pouch and has no, like, not used to being in a human body, you're pretty fucking suave at this shit. So, like, I'm just saying, the man that owned the tobacco pouch that Tojo must have been a suave motherfucker. It tickled and took me by surprise. I yanked myself away from him. You can call yourself serious and sincere all you want, but that won't get me to cave. Playing hard to get? She definitely is. Although I could see some reluctance in his eyes as he stared at me, Tojo looked rather content. Sheesh! Let's get on with the investigation. This isn't the time to be puttering around. Sure, otherwise there won't be a next time for you, and... Oh. Why does Kamame look possessed? Is she like... What's with her eyes? Is she like, I will kill you? When I looked, I saw Kamame's face poking out of my kimono sleeve. She was glaring at Tojo, looking a tiny bit scared. Jet does not look scared. She looks possessed by a demon. I know. Don't look at me like that. I won't tease Spacey. I couldn't help but laugh a bit, seeing a tiny sparrow make him flinch. That tiny sparrow was the reason we kissed, though, so... A little while after we'd finally restarted our investigation... I spotted a straw effigy beneath some debris. Tojo, I found an effigy! Really? The effigy, burned and a bit sooty from the fire, had fallen on the ground with all the other rubble. I had almost walked right past it. I picked it up and handed it to Tojo. It's not in a box like the one on the roof of Chiyoda Castle, but it's covered in black threads, too. And this is definitely a bewitched object that was used to summon a Blightfall. Nice find, Spacey. He carefully probed around inside the straw effigy. As I suspected, he discovered 5 fingernails inside. I'm gonna vomit every single time they talk about it, because they ripped their They didn't just cut their fingernails, they probably ripped them off, especially if they're bloody. Oh God! Do you know how much it hurts if you break your fingernail down past the you know what I mean? Like, and you're like, ow! It's just a tiny little bit of skin rips off, just a tiny bit. Could you imagine your whole entire motherfucking fingernail being, and 5 of them? Oh, sweet Jesus! Oh, I'm gonna fall over. It's a good thing I'm sitting because my knees hurt. Good Lord. I couldn't bear to look at the nails, which were covered in black congealed blood. Stop saying it! After carefully examining the effigy for a little while, Tojo uttered something. It can't be. Did you figure something out? Maybe the frequent Blightfall appearances all over Samurai Town were part of an experiment testing long-range summoning using these straw effigies. An experiment? My voice almost cracked at the unbelievable thing he just said. The culprit was probably nearby, watching to see if Blightfall could be summoned using an effigy. Once they were able to determine it actually worked, they placed one somewhere far away and carried out the main event from a distance. And by main event, you mean the attack on Lord Yoshimune. Exactly. And the kid we took in the beginning might have been forced to summon a Blightfall near the straw effigy as an experiment. Which is why we found an effigy near this warehouse, just like the kid we took in. Speaking of which, the oyster catcher I picked up back then was somewhere around here. My guess is that the oyster catcher and the effigy were together at first. Then where are the rest of the children? That I don't know. However, after pausing to think for a moment, Tojo continued. Earlier, my guess was that they split up the kids before hiding them. I might have been wrong about that. That would actually help us, because then they'll all be together. Huh? Wrong? If you can summon Blightfall from afar using these straw effigies, then they don't need to move them. And doesn't it make more sense to hide all the kids in the same place to make it easier to control them? Scattering straw effigies around town mean they can make Blightfall appear just about anywhere they want. Which begs the question, what would be the most convenient place to hide a large group of children? It'd definitely be more convenient for the kidnapper to keep them all in one place. Somewhere you could hide an entire group of kids. Where would that be? At your school to make you look even more guilty. Anyway, let's investigate wherever Blightfall have spawned so far. If we do, there's a chance we'll also find effigies nearby. Sure, it might help us find wherever they're hiding the kids. My heart swelled with hope. Let's go check out the other crime scenes right away. Yeah, there you are. Hey! Figures you were here. Oh, it's Tominari and Tanichibo. You managed to link up in one piece. It's like Tominari, Tanichibo, Tojo. There's too many T's in this group. I guess we have to change our name to Tacy, because then it's Tominari, Tanichibo, Tojo, and Tacy. We're the 4 T's. We can't be that random S here. It wasn't just Tominari and Tanichibo heading our way, however. Behind them was a familiar face. Chie. Oh, okay, I guess we can be spacey if Chie's here, because she's not a T. She's TA now. Huh? What? I was going to say, why is TA here now? Why is Chie here when she's made a point of avoiding us? She looked very solemn, which made sense since her child was missing, but I had a feeling that wasn't the only reason why. This is going to go back to... Hold on. Sorry that y'all came out of nowhere. Remember when we were at the school the one day and then she was talking to her son because she took him to the bathroom and then she's like, you can tell her. And then he's like, oh, whatever. And like her husband's manservant came and dragged her away basically. Right? And her kid had told her something and then she was like, you tell her. And then the kid never told us anything. And we're like, okay, whatever. And then we completely conveniently forgot about it. And it was like, that's going to come back later. Here you go. Jojo, there's something I would like to ask you. Me? Yes, if you don't mind. She looks very mad, though. I saw quiet determination and a fire burning in her eyes. Afterwards, we were invited to the Tanba estate. Chie regarded Tojo with an expression so serious it was almost frightening. Yeah, seriously, she looks angry. Allow me to get straight to the point. Please give the children back. Oh, you think Tojo has them? Okay. Just as I suspected, I knew that had to be what she wanted to say. The police and the shogunate were already trying everything possible to find the children, but they still hadn't come back home. Chie was so worried about her son, she decided to directly confront the person she suspected to be at fault. That is, Tojo. What could your objective possibly be? Money? If it's money, how much do I need to give you before you'll return the children? Are they safe? Where have you hidden them? An earnest plea. Even though I knew Tojo didn't do it, it still struck a chord with me. I'd really like to defend Tojo and say he didn't do it, but this doesn't seem like a good time to butt in. Tominari and Tanichibo were also in attendance, silently watching Chie bear her emotions. Okay, so this is not the time where she's gonna, like, talk about the thing that she was gonna... Are they never gonna bring that back up? Because I feel like that was gonna be important. And they just went right over our heads, left it behind, and we're never gonna... Cause, you know? Okay. Chie was clenching her fists so tightly I could see veins popping up on her hands. Okay, well... Sorry? I'm so goddamn tired. Well, to be fair, maybe that will come up, but that was not her intent to be like, I have to tell you something. But maybe in talking to her, all of a sudden we'll be like, hey, what was that thing you were going to say like a week ago before your kid disappeared? Remember all that? What was that about? You know? I don't know why we'd remember it now. I'm sure she was actually terrified. And yet here she was, bargaining for her child, scared, but also fully prepared to die. I mean, I feel like that makes her a good mom. She's not like, I'm just going to hide in the corner. She's like, I will risk my life to get my goddamn kid back. I mean, props to her for that. You know what I mean? Like, good job, Chie. And please calm down, Chie. I completely understand that I'm under suspicion, but I didn't do it. Do you expect me to fall for that? I'm very sorry I wasn't able to protect the kids. I'm in the middle of doing everything I can to find leads. Please believe me, Leave you? How dare you say something so brazen? Chie stood up all of a sudden, furious. You're clearly behind all of this, and yet here you are suggesting you had nothing to do with it. I know you've been up to something at the temple school recently. If you hadn't, the part of the wall where there used to be if you hadn't, the part of the wall where there used to be a sliding door wouldn't have been painted over. What she just said caught my attention. Tojo seemed to be thinking the same thing. Okay, maybe that was what the kid noticed, or she noticed, or something. Well, I don't remember. It was like something her and her kid, they were talking about something. And the part of the wall where there used to be a sliding door. I'm sorry, but what do you mean? Don't play dumb! There was a hole in the sliding door! A hole? When I muttered this in confusion, Chie cocked her head curiously. Did Hikomaru not mention this to you? Hikomaru, that's your son, right, Chie? Yes. If you recall, you came running over to us while everyone else was working on their oyster catchers. I'd taken him to the restroom. Hikomaru put a hole in the screen. I wanted to apologize directly, but didn't have time and had to go home. Ah, okay. Okay. So we are getting to the point of that. All right. I told Hikomaru to apologize on his own. Do you mean to say he never told you? No, this is the first I'm hearing of it. Is that right? I sincerely apologize for my rather rude behavior. And I'm sorry my son punched a hole in your wall, but you're still guilty! No, I'm just kidding. Wait, was that what she was talking about back then? The days I'd spent at the temple school came rushing back to me. Pardon me, but did something happen? Oh, no, I'm sorry for shouting. I must have been so loud. No worries. More importantly, what happened exactly? My sincerest apologies. To tell the truth, And then the servant was like, ma'am? You'll follow me, because it's like, the servant tells her what to do? Understood. Hikomaru, talk to her on your own later.
Yes, Mother.
So that's what she was so flustered about at the time. Chie told us she'd gone to the temple school recently seeking clues about the children's whereabouts. She remembered the hole her son left in the sliding door and stopped by to check on it. But when she got there, the sliding door was gone. It was just a regular wall. Which is why I thought you'd done some work on the wall where the sliding door had been. I didn't touch the sliding door, though. Perhaps you're mistaken. That's not possible. Who else could have changed the structure of the building? What exactly were you trying to do over there? But that's the thing. That's the perfect place to hide the kids. Chie's claim made sense to me. Considering that, it made sense that the sliding door was fresh on Chie's mind. Just then, Tominari, who'd been watching up to that point, slowly began to speak.
Pardon me. Although I understand what you're saying, Konotaka wouldn't have been able to interfere with that sliding door. He was forbidden from entering the school. I've been telling him as well, meaning there's no way he could have snuck in. It's also not necessarily true that the people currently running the school are redecorated.
What do you mean? Tojo didn't enter the school, but if Chie's claim is correct... Something's obviously up here. Makes sense to think it might have something to do with the case, you know? The fact that Tanichibo has to be like, do you think maybe they're hiding the kids there and it's like something sus? True. It sounds like we need to check out the scene one more time. We then asked Chie to show us where to find the missing sliding door at the temple school. Because he's like, what door? There's a lot. Which one is the one that's missing? Because you know what I mean? Like, you'd think you'd know your own house. To go in and be like, didn't there used to be a door there? Why is there a wall there now? Afterwards, just as we were close to arriving at the temple school, we saw Kyoshiro's hawk circling the sky above us. Fuck. It's keeping watch over the area around the temple school. Wary of the hawk, we hid behind a building. Okay, guys, put your coats over your head and run. They'll never see us. Once the hawk finally decided nothing was amiss, it flew away. Chirp! Yeah, looks like it's gone. We took the opportunity to sneak into the school. We're sneaking into school. Gonna steal all the apples off the teachers' desks. Slip some notes into locker. I'm not really good at being a hooligan. I don't know what you do sneaking into a school. Oh, on Gossip Girl, they were all doing drugs at the pool, right? They snuck into the pool. That was the first thing that popped into mind. I'm like, I'm sure there have been I feel like every CW show involves sneaking. They did that on Smallville too, like sneaking into the pool when they weren't supposed to be at the school. Like, why does every school have a fucking pool? My schools didn't. I didn't. All the high schools I went to, okay, there was only two. None of them had pools. Anyway, it'd been about a month since the last time I was here. Not one thing had changed, except there was a wall now. The last time I was here, I was playing with the children in peace. At the time, I had no idea things would turn out this way. Unfortunately, however, I didn't have time to get sentimental. Chie showed us the place she'd mentioned before. This is where the sliding door used to be. Here? The only thing there was a spotless clean wall. Tojo cocked his head quizzically. Again! How big is this temple school that you didn't notice that there wasn't, that you're looking and you're like, you're right, there's a wall. You know what I mean? It'd be like if coming home one day and you'd be like, huh, I swear my bedroom used to be here, but now there's just a wall. Whatever. You know? I mean, like Tojo doesn't live here, but you'd think you'd know the place enough that like if a wall was magically, I mean, he was not allowed to be here anymore, but you'd think he wouldn't be right now confused and be like, huh, you sure that wasn't always a wall? He should know it wasn't always a wall, you know? I felt like doing that too. Hasn't this wall always been here? But according to Chie, it used to be a sliding door. No, it was definitely a wall, wasn't it? I mean, I understand us, we'd only been to the school twice. Tojo should know that wasn't always a wall. I stood there looking at it, my memory a jumbled mess. Oh, well, that's true, though. Did we say that, like, they could, like, fuck with your mind? So, like, someone can make us remember that it was a wall when it's not? I felt the wall gingerly, which was rough to the touch. I could confirm there was definitely a wall in front of me. It's just a wall, right? I guess Chie misremem. Just then I saw a flicker of movement out of the corner of my eye. Huh? Oh! Black threads! I spotted black threads sticking out from beneath the wall, coming from inside. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. Like, did we say that they could kind of do that? Like, so they kind of messed with our minds, making us think that there was always a wall there, but it seems unnecessary. Because, like, Chie being like, oh, he broke the screen, and now all of a sudden there's a wall, you're hiding something. And then he's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Which screen? Which wall? Because, I mean, there's a lot of doors in here, so you wouldn't know what she's talking about. But the two of us seeing it and him being like, that wasn't always a wall? That's fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like, what's fucking with your memory? Who's fucking with your memory? Us, I understand not knowing because we didn't know this place well enough to be like, was it always a wall or not? You know what I mean? But Tojo should know, and so it's odd. And there'd be no real reason to fuck with his memory because once everyone accused him, he was no longer allowed to go back into the school. So and they were keeping him away, so he never would have noticed. It's not like he would have been there and been like, whoa, wait a minute, there was never a wall there, it was always a door. Nobody else would have noticed because they weren't there enough to know, you know? Inside the wall. Of course, there's got to be a room on the other side. It's where they're keeping the kids. There was a room here. And just like Chie said, there used to be a door, too. I forgot all about it until I saw the black thread sticking out. That's weird, though. I pulled on Tojo and Tominari's sleeves and let them know, speaking quietly so Tanichibo and Chie didn't hear what I just realized now. What I'd realized just now. A room? Here?
Hasn't there always been a wall here?
Yeah, see, why are you thinking that, too? What the fuck? That's so bizarre. And they'll explain it, but it's weird. Try to remember, guys. Didn't there used to be a door here before and a room behind it? It was turned into a wall to hide the room behind it. There used to be a sliding door here. I'm sure of it. Also, if you go outside and you're like, the house is half the size it used to be, it's really, you know what I mean? You'd be able to tell. When I brought this to their attention, Tominari and Tojo's expressions slowly turned to looks of stunned surprise, like they were slowly waking up. And come to think of it, there definitely was a sliding door here before. I completely forgot until you mentioned it, Spacey.
How did we forget until just now?
See, okay. It was definitely odd. All three of us had forgotten there used to be a sliding door here, not to mention the existence of the room that had to be on the other side. I didn't remember the sliding door or the room until I saw the black threads. Seems like a weird way of forgetting something. This was done on purpose. Was it really something we would all forget in the same unnatural way? No, but I'm curious as to like who's behind it and who made you forget.
It's almost like we're cursed. I got a bad feeling about this.
Huh. Did you figure something out? Maybe we actually were cursed like Tominari just said. Tojo pointed at the wall when he said Tominari's name, which was all it took for him to pick up on Tojo's signal.
I see. Understood.
Ow! The second Tominari thrust his sword into the wall before us, it transformed into a sliding door.
Whoa, the wall turned into a door! What is this, some kind of witchcraft?
No, you're just on drugs, Tanichibo. It's the other way around. It was under a spell until just now, and the wall never existed. He said this while touching the sliding door with his hand. And we saw the door as a wall, accepted it as fact, and completely forgot about the room because someone cast a spell on us. Thanks to the enchantment, we weren't able to realize it was even possible on our own until just now. We can see the real sliding door now because I lifted the enchant... Oh, sorry, that was Tominari.
I can see the real sliding door now because I lifted the enchantment with my snow sacrament.
Huh. Oh, here! Here's where my son put a hole in the screen. I'm absolutely certain this is the same door. Chie said excitedly after pointing at the hole in the sliding door. Thank God your son damaged property by accident. None of us could hide how shocked we were by this unexpected development. Still, this was a huge step towards solving the case. Tojo gave a satisfied nod. We have Chie and Spacey to thank for helping us figure out this door existed. Huh? But I didn't... We could have never known about the sliding door if Chie hadn't remembered the hole in the screen, and nothing would have seemed unusual about the door being a wall. And since you were here to see their emotional imprints, he helped us remember there was a room behind it. We were only able to lift the kidnapping god's enchantment once those two coincidences overlapped. Excellent work, Spacey. Kiss me and give me my prize. As embarrassed as I was hearing him say this, I could feel myself cracking a smile. I never thought I'd be of any use for something like this. I'm going to go become a regular Sherlock Holmes. Chie was absolutely astonished. She probably never thought she'd play such an important role either.
Problem is, whatever's in the room, it's gotta be something important if they went through the trouble of hiding it with an enchantment, you know?
It's probably the kids. Anybody think about that?
Probably. I was just about to say the same thing.
Beat you to it!
Either way, we've lifted the enchantment. We'll find out what's inside once we open the door. Tojo promptly reached for the door handle. Something's gonna go down now. Yeah, monster. Okay. Just before he could open the door, a blightfall appeared directly behind us. What? The second my mind registered that I was looking at a blightfall, I instinctively started staring at it. I've gotten more used to doing this lately. I see black threads on it too. I mean, it is all black threads, but I get what she means.
Another summoned blightfall.
Ha! Tojo and Tominari immediately sprang into action. Oh, monster! Chie, come this way! I wasted no time taking Chie somewhere she could safely take shelter.
Come and get it! Although you don't have to come and get it if that's an option.
Yeah!
Ichiban being like, yeah, come in, come and get it, maybe, or like, don't. I'd prefer you didn't.
It'll be hard enough to protect both Spacey and Chie while fighting, assuming we'll leave Tanichibo to fend for himself.
Hey, I can hear you.
The Blightfall remained still in a guarded stance, cautiously watching our every move. Tojo and Tominari briefly exchanged a few words without taking their eyes off the Blightfall.
Tominari, let's create an opening and retreat.
To search the school.
Now's not the time to continue our search. We can't allow Chie, who isn't part of the Oniwaban, to get dragged into battle. And plus, the summoning of a Blightfall means the kidnapping god knows we broke in.
Meaning they're bound to show up sooner or later.
It's almost nightfall, too. The kidnapping god's is a Blightfall. Their powers only get stronger at this time of day. And the odds are against us.
But if this is where the kids are, you think they're going to move them? The two of them decided not to resume the fight in the end.
Let's retreat for now. When I give the signal, take Chie and flee as fast as your legs can carry you.
Got it! I glanced at the sliding door, reluctant to leave it unexplored. Not much we can do besides run, although I'm really curious about what's inside the hidden room.
If they went out of their way to use witchcraft to hide it, if they went out of their way to use witchcraft to hide it somewhere conspicuous, like a school, then it won't be easier. Then it won't be easy for them to up and move everything. We might be leaving for a little while, but I highly doubt they'll be able to move anything the second we go. We'll have to come back and check it out.
Okay.
I'll distract him with the
Horokudama.
When it recoils, run for it. Alright, here I go.
Tominari threw a Horokudama at the Blightfall.
Now, run!
With a shout as our signal, I urged Chie to run with me. The others didn't waste any time fleeing either. I've never seen a bomb before. It's got more punch than I expected. These thoughts were on the back of my mind as I ran. We've come this far out. Maybe we've run far enough to be okay.
Watch out!
Tojo's hand skimmed just past my head. For a second, I wasn't quite sure what had just happened. I looked closely and saw a piece of tile in his grip.
Phew, that was real close to hitting you. You're not hurt, are you?
Like, damn, you have fucking ninja reflexes. I mean, it makes sense. No, thank you so much. I finally understood what had happened. He saved me from getting hit by a piece of tile sent flying by the explosion. Even at a time like this, it made my heart soar to think he'd protected me. I'm sure Tojo would have done the same for anyone else since he's so nice, but really, you're going to pull that? Because that's exactly what he was doing before. Also, yes, he probably would have stopped Tile from hitting someone, but he's definitely going to do it for you because he loves you, so come on. He would have helped anyone who was in imminent danger, not just me. You know, like Chie or any of the children from the temple school.
I'm glad you weren't hurt.
He stroked my cheek with the palm of his large hand. I felt my body temperature shoot up at this unexpected bit of physical contact. The way he does that is so unfair. He would have helped anyone, but the way he was touching me, I knew that was reserved for me alone. Good, she's smart. That thought was strangely satisfying.
Anyway, that was a pretty big explosion. Horokudama might be too powerful to use as a distraction.
That was a little stronger than I expected. Probably a good idea to consider when we use them more Probably a good idea to consider when to use them more carefully.
Let's split up already. Another monster might attack us if we don't.
Or let's split already, sorry. We followed his suggestion and left immediately.
He's like, maybe we should just not stand outside in its freaking yard.
After we promised Chie that we'd figure out the rest, she went back home. Seeing the enchantment for herself and being attacked by an actual Blightfall made her a little more inclined to believe Tojo. Once we'd seen her off, we found ruins that were perfect for camping out. It must not have been abandoned for long because the inside wasn't too dilapidated. We decided to rest there for the day.
I'm back. There was nothing unusual going on at the school.
Welcome back. Thanks for keeping watch.
I hope Tanichibo will be okay keeping watch on his own.
He probably will. You wouldn't think it looking at him, but he did go through Yamabushi monk training. He'll probably do better than the average person.
He said probably twice. The men were taking turns keeping an eye on the temple school. We were afraid that if too much time passed, the kidnapping god would take additional countermeasures. We had to act quickly.
I was a little worried the police or the Oniwaban would come running because of the explosion, but thankfully they didn't notice. They're really busy.
Probably only because no one lives around here anymore.
It's also possible they did hear a loud noise, but thought it was a blightfall and were too scared to approach.
That definitely could be.
Seeing as the Oniwaban didn't come, Kyoshiro's hawk must have gone back home since it was almost sunset.
It seemed like a stroke of good luck that a massive explosion went completely unnoticed.
And the temple school's dangerous right now anyway. If no one's getting close to it, even better. We don't have time to waste, though. Let's march back in there tomorrow morning. The other thing we have left to do is figure out how we'll communicate our plan to the Oniwaban.
Because it'd be reckless to fight an enemy capable of causing something of this magnitude on our own.
Do you think they might send backup if we explain the situation to them? I could serve as the messenger if needed.
Well, even if we did notify them right away, they just punish us. This is the best we can do to keep the kidnapping god from getting away.
If we're telling them, we should do it right before we head out. I'll send Tanichiba with a letter explaining the important bits. No, wait. I know an easier way.
An easier way?
Kyoshiro's hawk. It's not flying around right now because it can't see well in the dark, but it'll be back in the morning to keep an eye on the school.
True. Kyoshiro would know exactly what was going on if the hawk sees us.
And they might still be suspicious of us, but the Oniwaban would back us up if they got there and found us already fighting a Blightfall. And there's still time to clear our names.
That was all we decided to do for now. After a while, Tominari headed over to the temple school to take over guard duty. Tojo and I watched him go, then decided to get some rest. Come on, mate. You've been such a good girl today. Chirp, chirp. Kamame must have been exhausted because she was already half asleep. I set her on top of a cushion in the corner of the room. The fluffy cushion must have been comfortable because she fell asleep right where I set her down. All right then, guess I'll go to sleep here. Might be a little chilly sleeping without a blanket, but I can't expect too much in a situation like this. Oh, Tojo's gonna be a body warmer. Tojo came over.
Hey, Spacey, if you're gonna lie down, use this.
He handed me a cozy-looking sleeping kimono. Where'd you get this from?
It was over in the closet. It didn't sit right with me making a girl your age sleep directly on the tatami mat, so I looked around for something.
Okay, I was hoping you'd hold me in your arms, but sure, this works. And is also extremely considerate. Thank you so much. Touched by his thoughtfulness, I gracefully accepted the sleeping kimono. It's so funny because, there's not much here. I mean, the people left, but they probably didn't take all of their stuff, so you could have just opened their closets and poked through their shit and found, pillows and blankets. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. If you were, rushing out, you wouldn't pack every single fucking thing you owned. You'd be like, okay, I'm going to take some important stuff, but, if someone comes in your house afterward, they're like, I need to sleep somewhere, you're like, oh, hey. I mean, obviously they don't have beds; they sleep on the floor, whatever. But it's you don't think there's a blanket, there's nothing floating around here. Come on, there's got to be something here. You guys didn't even look. I mean, that's polite of you. You're like, we're sleeping in their house, but we shouldn't go rooting through their closets. It's kind of an emergency, so I feel like they'll be okay if you borrow a blanket as long as you don't steal it. Just leave it there when you're done. Sure, it sucks they got to do laundry, but hey, they still have their blanket, you know. By the looks of it, there was only one sleeping kimono. He might be a vessel, but he'll probably still get cold sleeping like that. Are we going to cuddle under it? Tojo, want to get in with me? I asked out of sincere concern for him, not paying it too much thought. He's like, hello? Are you sure? He asked back, looking surprisingly serious. It was then I understood the implications of my question. Shoot, it was pretty bold of me to ask him if he wanted to share the same bedding. My face turned red with embarrassment, but I wasn't about to retract what I just said. I wouldn't want you to catch a cold, so I don't mind. It's an emergency situation. Gotcha.
Oh, CG, cuddling up. Oh, how cute. Look at us cuddling up with him under the kimono. Oh, it's adorable. She's like, this is a little awkward, but I'm kind of enjoying it on her face. And he's like, I'm a little concerned we're doing this. Sitting side by side, Tojo and I put the sleeping kimono over our shoulders. He's so close. Yeah, I mean, even though I'd given him permission, feeling the warmth of his body right up against mine made me hopelessly nervous. Are you nervous? Maybe I should get out then. I'm not. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I mean, it's okay to be. In this case, you'd be like, yes, but it's fine. Stay. I could tell saying this put a smile on his face. Yeah, there it is. I'll take you up on your offer then. Ooh, look at his arm around her waist. He pulled me close, then wrapped his arm around my waist. Tojo? I won't go any further than this, and I don't plan to hit on you until you've given in. Oh, until you give in. Please, just relax. Doesn't this count as hitting on me? I bit my tongue because I had a feeling if I complained, he'd just treat me like a little kid. More importantly, I didn't really mind it. How sweet. Once I was used to it, I found his warmth reassuring and cozy. You already know this, but come tomorrow, we'll be facing off against the kidnapping god. I nodded solemnly. I'm not sure we'll get the Oniwaban's cooperation, and we don't have many people on our side. Never mind whether or not we'll win this fight. Right now, the only way we can solve the case is to keep pushing forward. I want to win this to pay you, Tomonari, and Tanichibo back for helping me. And we're absolutely going to rescue the kids. Yes, we will. I'll do everything I can to help. And don't push yourself too hard. Although, I do feel reassured knowing you'll be there for me. We both leaned in, our shoulders touching. He was here right now, without a shadow of a doubt. I could definitely feel him here with me. But all of a sudden I felt nervous. I still had no idea when he might vanish. Your body's still okay, right? Yeah, I'm fine. I'd be really mad if you disappeared without saying anything to me. You got me scared now. I won't. Let's solve this case quickly, then get that figured out. I'm sure you and I will make it work. It made me so happy to hear him say, you and I. So he's relying on me? The thought filled my heart with a warm, fuzzy feeling. Spurred on by it, I began to speak. I've been working hard because I want to save your life, Tojo. I'm also worried about the children, of course, and I'd like to protect Ito, too. But your life is just as important. No, even more important to me. Spacey, I'm fighting for our future together. That was a rather roundabout way of putting it, even for me, but it still took everything I had to say it. For our future together, huh? I couldn't be happier to hear that. Look at him blushing! It's so adorable! I guess I'll have to survive and make you fall for me then. He said, then gripped me a little tighter around the waist. You saved me countless times. I would have been reverted to an object a long time ago if it hadn't been for you. You're always so positive, serious about everything, and considerate. And that's why I found you so attractive. If I hadn't met you, I probably wouldn't have regained my heart either. I'm glad I did, though. I'd be much happier ceasing to exist while being madly in love with you than stay alive as a vessel having never met you. Please don't mention not existing anymore. You're asking for it. My bad. I just really wanted to tell you how I felt. I owe who I am now to you. Thank you, Spacey. How adorable. If that's how you feel, then live. Because I don't think I could go on without you. I pressed my cheek into his collar to express my love, which was growing stronger every second, but I'm not going to tell him that. I'm going to make him work for it. These always end like so early. We can go a little bit later so hopefully this is not a 4-hour long scene.
The next morning, we all headed back to the temple school.
It's almost time. Everyone ready?
I am.
I'm ready to go anytime.
Ah, yeah, I'm excited.
The lineup included myself, Tojo, Tominari, Tenichibo, and last but not least, Kamame. Yeah, in worst case scenario, you just throw a bird at him. I wasn't sure whether to bring Kamame with us into such a dangerous fight, but she was so determined to come that she wouldn't have stayed behind. Plus, she would have been lost in some other person's house. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna go back and try to find her. She must realize this is a critical juncture for us. They'd taken turns all night keeping watch over the temple school, but saw no signs of any movement inside. That is to say, whatever the kidnapping god hid with an enchantment was still inside. Right at that moment, Kyoshiro's hawk flew over to patrol the area. After circling the sky and thoroughly confirming that it saw us, it flew away.
It must be leaving to tell Kyoshiro and the rest that we're here at the school.
Do you really think they'll come?
I'm sure they will, to arrest us. But I bet they'll jump in to help when they see us battling a Blightfall.
And then there's going to be 4 of us standing there in a room full of the kids, and they're going to be like, see, we knew it was you. And they're like, it wasn't. There was... Fuck. We sneaked into the school, snuck into the school, and made our way over to the door with the hole in it. I don't know, sneaked into doesn't sound right. Is it right, though? I don't know. It was still a sliding door, just like it had been yesterday. It wasn't a wall. If the enchantment's still gone, does that mean...
Did the kidnapping god give up guard in this room? I hope so. It doesn't look like they've laid any traps, at least.
Tojo said, then carefully placed his hand on the handle of the sliding door. We stepped inside but couldn't see anything around us because of how dim it was. This looks like the classroom. Chojo set foot into the room first, followed by Tominari, myself, and Tenichibo in that order.
No signs of the enemy hiding inside.
While looking around, I spotted 9 large black cocoon-like objects in the back of the room. Those are the fucking kids. They're in cocoons. Upon closer inspection, the room was dark because it was covered in a thick web of black threads. I needed to tell them, and soon. There's some black cocoon-like things in the room.
But what are they? They're way too big to be actual cocoons.
I thought I might be the only one who could see them, but apparently everyone else could too.
It looks like there's something inside the cocoons.
There's 9 kids missing. There's 9 cocoons. You didn't stop and think that they were the kids inside of those? When I strained my eyes, I could just barely make out what was inside them.
Wait, they're...
I realized their true contents after Tojo and Tominari had already figured it out.
Are the children inside?
They were the missing children, literally right under our noses. I can't believe they were being hidden at the school all along. Tojo's guess that the culprit probably hid them all in one place to make it easier to control them was spot on.
Oh, we can see them. Does that mean these threads aren't normal emotional imprints?
Let's think about that later. We need to save them quickly.
But just then, everyone flickered around when we heard a sound behind us. Tenichibo? Before I knew it, Tenichibo, who had been at the very rear, was gone. Huh. That's odd. He was just there a moment ago. Tenichibo, where are you? Puzzled, I left the room.
Hey, don't go too far.
Tenichibo either got kidnapped. At first it was like Tenichibo. I was like, is he going to be like the big bad the whole time? Because like, I didn't think he'd be able to like, you know, he just doesn't seem like the brains of the operation. You know what I mean? But Tenichibo, huh. The second I left the room, I saw the most unbelievable thing. A black cocoon? I was confused. Something that wasn't there a moment ago had appeared out of nowhere. Tenichibo's in there? As soon as they saw my reaction, Tojo and Tominari exited the room as well.
Another cocoon over here.
Hey, someone's inside this one too.
Is it Tenichibo? Tenichibo was inside the cocoon in the hallway. He seemed to be unconscious. The kidnapping god must have gotten him.
We'll even manage to do this without us even realizing.
The very next moment, Spacey, get back! It's here. Is it a fucking spider? 'Cause what the fuck? Tojo cut the swath of black threads that launched out of nowhere in two.
Over there!
Tominari sliced through the black threads with a single stroke of his sword. I looked in the direction the swath of threads had come from and saw a huge black shadow over there. Eek! Something huge was peering at us from outside, although I couldn't make out any details other than the fact that it was a black shadow. No, that's not a shadow. It was a blightfall bigger than any I'd seen before. Not only was it so large that you had to look up to get a good look at it, but it was so dark it almost seemed to absorb all the light around it. Upon squinting, I could tell its body consisted of black threads. Attached to its head was a mask, its weak spot and the only part of its body with any distinct features. It was altogether eerie. My legs nearly gave out beneath me out of fear. I think this might be the kidnapping god. Tojo and Tominari had probably intuited the same thing. They readied their swords again and put a bit more distance between themselves and the Blightfall. That's true, the Blightfall is the one that was actually controlling the children. It's not like it was a person controlling the Blightfall. It was a Blightfall controlling people to control Blightfall. So, right, and didn't they figure that out a while ago? So. Are you the mastermind behind these incidents? The kidnapping god didn't react to his question. Why are you after Ito and Lord Yoshimune? Why'd you use the children? Answer me! The kidnapping god didn't seem to understand language. It didn't react at all. Then, why is it doing what it's doing? One thing's clear. This Blightfall is different from any other Blightfall I've ever seen. It's completely out of the ordinary. The way it was silently watching us was enough to make me want to run away. Tojo spoke to Tominari and I as he stared down the Blightfall. Listen to me, guys. We have to leave. We're at a huge disadvantage fighting in this cramped place. We can't allow any harm to come to the children. If it's already done using them, there's a risk it might just level the whole school. And they'd all be buried alive.
Got it. Let's go outside.
This way. Run for it! We all took off running on his mark. The kidnapping god's eyes followed our movements, then it shifted its body towards us. This allowed us to draw the Blightfall away from the cocoons containing the children. We'll rescue you later. Just wait for us. Perfect timing. Look at that. Okay, so, I do feel like there's gonna have to be, now one big, probably, maybe the next part will be, the end, because I feel like we're gonna well, actually, I think we still have a choice left in this chapter. If I remember correctly, because I think I scrolled up too far after Kumame's answer for the last part. I think there's one more. I don't remember what it is. But I think there's one more choice. So, because I was like, this seems like this is going to be the climactic finish. But maybe not. Maybe we still got a little bit more to do. I mean, and then you're always going to have some little bit of after kind of story stuff. So, I don't know. But we're getting there at any rate. So, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.